Coming to you live on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. It's the Believe in the Southside Boys. I am Steve-O. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is @DrunkShySoxFan. And joining me.
What's going on? It's Carrie. You can find me on Twitter @ThatBaseballFan. Steve, I know we didn't do a show earlier this week, but got a lot to cover. Lots of shit happened this week, and ready to get the show on the road.
Absolutely. Before we get the show on the road, let me just do a little shameless plug. Obviously, we are the Believe in the Southside Boys. You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram, which we should get running sooner than later. That is @Believe, BLEAV, Southside. So @Believe Southside. You can find us on there, and then you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We go live on YouTube every single episode, so make sure you tune into us live. It's a lot of fun, and those who join us live enjoy it because they get to see their comments pop up on the screen, and we get to answer some questions along the way for every half-hour episode we do together. So we're going to cram this all into a half an hour this week, maybe even under. So let's hop right into it, Carrie. The last time we recorded, we were getting prepped for what we thought would be the death of the White Sox 2022 season against Houston. What are your initial thoughts on the Houston series?
It's funny. I said that they would take the middle two. You said they would take the first two. So, Steve, like I said last podcast, when you make a prediction and you're right or wrong, I'm going to broadcast it regardless. Okay. Once again, you're 2 for 2 already starting starting on the new pod. So, you said they'd take the first two. They took the first two, and you said they'd probably struggle, especially with Lucas Giolito on the mound. So I got to hand it to you, Steven. I hate to admit it, but kudos to you. You were spot on about what was going to happen with that Astros series. So it was still great that we split. It was funny. We were both hoping for that, and we were like, if they split, I'm super happy, and then like just the way it ended, you're just like, am I happy? Like this team just scored 3 touchdowns against us. Am I really happy about it being split? So, right. If I'm going back on what we said, I'm happy they split with the Astros.
For sure. You have to be content with taking 2 out of 4 out of arguably the best team in the AL, right? I'm wrong even when I'm right. Absolutely. You can take that so many ways. And thank you for joining us in the comments, Brian. As usual, he is a normal listener, a regular listener already. But you know what? Last week I was really humble about being right about the Detroit series and the sweep. I'm not going to be humble. I'm going to toot my own horn right now. I was absolutely right about this series. I liked the Cueto matchup, and I really liked the Cease matchup. I knew that Cease Verlander game was going to be tight. And both of those games were tight. I first want to toot Johnny Cueto's horn. As I said on Twitter, I can't remember the exact quote, but I said something along the lines of, I would let Johnny Cueto ride me without any doubts in my mind. He is a damn horse on the mound, just like the horse that he should ride out to the mound every single
horse that's game. Probably in his pants. What?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think he might, be well endowed down there.
Oh, yeah.
I got to throw out a stat here. In his last 14 starts this year, he has had 13 of those last 14, where he's gone at least 5 innings pitched. Almost all of those, though, are 6+ innings. And he has given up 3 or less runs in all of those starts. The other one out of those 14 that he missed out on that mark was a 7-inning, 4-run effort against Cleveland over a month ago. Johnny Cueto's been absolutely fantastic, and he did it again against Cleveland last night on Saturday. In addition to that, I do have to say about that first game, it shouldn't come down to the bottom of the 8th, but it's good to see the core of the lineup hitting in big spots. Aloy having that 2-run double down the line, and then we've got Moncada with the 2-out, 2-run single.
2 days in a row.
Back-to-back games. He had an absolute monster series against Houston, and to be honest with you, Johnny Cueto can ride me, but you already know who's on the back of the jersey today, Carrie. You already
Ooh,
know.
not a bust. Still
Not a bust.
Don't
You
care what
know,
people say.
I was joking a couple episodes about how I was going to cut this jersey up, and you said no, don't do it, even if it's a DH Gate jersey. My God, fantastic. He's been very good lately. Yo knows clutch. Beautiful. He took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep.
And in that second game too, I want to give a shout out to Gavin Bonds, man. I know you hate him. I know you absolutely hate him. He is actually a negative 0.7 WAR player this year, per B WAR.
Good.
Per Baseball Reference. He has not been good, but that is where Gavin Bonds needs to shine right there. Gavin Sheets' time to shine is coming in to a pinch hit situation
Verlander.
with runners in scoring position against even a good pitcher, a great pitcher.
The best pitcher.
The best pitcher probably in the league right now, and the best pitcher, arguably, he is like 1A or 1B in regard to the last 15 years of baseball, folks.
Yeah.
Gavin Sheets gives you a clutch hit. That's huge. And that's what we want to see out of Gavin Sheets. He shouldn't be in the everyday starting lineup. He shouldn't be playing right field every single day or even DH, but I like him in that spot. So,
yep. And I have to add on to your Cueto stat, about like not letting up runs or anything like that. So
yeah.
Codify, is it Codify or Codify? I think
it's Codify.
Codify. So Codify Baseball, they said Johnny Cueto's earned runs allowed per 2022 start. Every single start besides one was 3 earned runs or less. Every single one.
Wow.
One start, he let up 5 runs, but it's 0, 0, 5, 3, 3, 0, 3, 3, 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 0, 1. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Is this Rickon's best
magnum opus?
Is this his guy?
I was talking to Tommy about this earlier, my co-host on the Sons of Honarchy podcast, which you've been on multiple times. He is good at landing the little fish. He has his way of finding these little signings that
Brian Goodwin,
can make a difference.
Billy Hamilton.
Right? Exactly. However, the big impact guys, he cannot land. And that's what makes him
was good at that though. Like if he was good at both, then this team would be well-rounded and augmented like he used to say it was going to be. So
yeah, and that they are not, because unless a guy is reaching that washed up period, he doesn't know how to capitalize on free agent signings or trades. So yeah, obviously you mentioned it with games 3 and 4 against Houston. Tough to see, especially game 3. I mean, game 4, they just got blown out of the water.
That was horrible.
But game 3, I did like the White Sox, as the meme is, like they had some dog in them, like Kopech gives up the 1 in the first, and also gives up 2 more in the fourth. But the White Sox come back in the bottom of the fourth and they score 2 more. The offense is just, you can be upset with Kopech having the 5 hits and 2 walks over 6, but I'm not. I'm going to take that. You can take it or leave it with that. He's not on that ace level yet. And you're facing a good offense in Houston. You just can't score 2 runs and expect to win, period.
Yep.
Discussion,
Yeah. There is somebody I would like to talk about, though,
in
this series, because I'm looking at a Savant page, too, and Mans is confirmed not good. And he's probably our 5th pitcher right now. I would put Lance Lynn over him. Lucas Giolito. Bro, love you as a human, and you're good for baseball, and because, he's trying to modernize baseball, and he's, always doing stuff with fans and the show and, like podcasting. But, dude, you suck at pitching right now. I mean, his Savant page, the only and it's so confusing. His K percentage is in the red and his whiff percentage is in the red, but everything else is in the blue. I mean, his curve spin is horrible, chase rate horrible, fastball velocity less than 50%. I mean, it's confirmed not good. There's a big issue there, and that guy has maybe cost himself $100 million.
Oh, 1,000%.
Unless he
1,000% agree.
Comes back next year and pitches lights out, he ain't getting a $100 million contract right now.
And I just don't see him doing it. He his pitching style is based off of deception, and he's just not deceiving hitters. I mean, he's really a two-pitch hitter or a two-pitch pitcher.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I mean, it's just like it's unbelievable seeing his fall off. But then again, I hate to say the Josh Donaldson quote here. It's not sticky anymore. There might be something to it. I know that might be a conspiracy. You know, I don't want to be QAnon Steve-O here, but since the Spider Tack incident, or since the Spider Tack crackdown, he has not been a good pitcher.
Well, I will say last year, his ERA plus was 125. I mean, it was still pretty good. I mean, he wasn't the guy the Sox thought he was going to be, that he was in 2019 and 2020. But last year, I mean, he 3.79 ERA, whip was pretty decent. I mean, I just don't get the complete fall off from last year to this year. I mean, and this man's got an ERA plus of 75 right now. He is a liability.
Oh, 1,000%. I do want to point out like his off season as well. One thing that people were talking about was his 20 or 25 pounds of muscle that he gained.
Bullshit.
Yeah, first and foremost, I call bullshit too. He looks like he's grown into his dad bod. No offense to him, but he's a 27, 28-year-old athlete, MLB, major league player. He's not in the minor. He's not a career minor leaguer. He's a guy who was a first-round draft pick who's supposed to be lighting up the boards here. He's not doing that, and I really want to point to that offseason. It's a travesty that he put on this weight and he became a worse pitcher. I don't, I'm not saying he's way overweight like Lance Lynn, but and then you throw the oblique injury on top of it. Like he had that oblique injury because he didn't know how to manage the extra weight he put on. And that extra weight hasn't led to extra velocity for him. Nope.
It's actually led to less velocity.
Right. So I'm telling you what, he needs, as bad as this sounds, and I think this, once again, I might be getting on a hot take here. He needs to go into the gym in the off season, get into the best shape of his life, and then get in the cat's lab. I think that's the only way to work around this Lucas Giolito situation, because obviously he can't bank on something like Spider Tack. And he's just got to reinvent himself and then also get a real third pitch. A fastball changeup just is not going to do it in this league, no matter how good your changeup is.
Nope. No, you're spot on. So he's got some stuff to figure out. The only thing I will say about Lucas Giolito is that we've seen him, change, right? We've seen him, change his entire pitch, mechanics. We've seen him adapt before. So I'm not going to really just I'm not going to say, oh, he's done for, blah, blah. I'm going to give him next year. And then, he pitches well in 2023. They're going to have to re-sign him. That's going to happen. And then he'll probably suck for the next 5 years. But, he's got to figure something out. So I'm not going to write him off yet. I've still seen some stretches this year where you're like, okay, Lucas is back. This is the Lucas we know. And then he has like 2 bad games in a row where you're like, holy shit, man. So, like I said, we've seen him adapt before. We've seen him change. We've seen him, get better. Hopefully, that happens. So.
Yeah, and it just, to me, and pull up the Savant page again if I'm wrong, but it just seems like the amount of hard contact that he's giving up as well is just an unreal amount this year.
Yeah,
it just seems off the charts.
His hard hit percentage is in the 41st percentile. So
still not great, especially for a good pitcher. And then barrels.
Yeah, his barrels is same thing, 41%.
Okay. Those are a little bit better than I thought, but it's not where we want Gio to be.
And that's what I'm saying. His numbers aren't they're teetering, right? They're not like his K percentage, his whiff percentage. He's getting people not to hit his pitches, but it's the other stuff that they are teeing off on. So if he can develop another pitch, like a slider, maybe, because that's just what the MLB is about right now. Who knows? But he's definitely got to get another pitch.
Might need to get into the C slab, honestly, with the slider.
Well, those two are best friends, and we just lost Steve. I don't know where Steve just went, but we'll keep on going on with this when he, joins in. So this is kind of funny. I I eventually thought that this would happen, with
There we go.
Steve's
We're all
internet
good.
sometimes, but it looks like he's coming back now.
Can you hear me now?
So, yeah, I mean, Giolito, well, just as Steve was saying, he's got to maybe, work with his best buddy, Dylan Cease. I know those two seem like they're like inseparable. So, hopefully he can learn something from him, but I don't know. I don't know if Lucas is that type of guy.
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine.
All right, fantastic. It's good to be back. Apologies. For some reason I hit backspace on my computer. And
I was like, oh, I knew this was going to happen at least once,
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. It's actually not bad internet this time. Hey, let's recap this Cleveland series real quick. And then, I'm going to give you a heads up on this in case you want to add to this list as well. I have a segment at the end and I'll tease it right now. It's going to be a places I'd rather vacation than Cleveland.
Great.
So let's recap this Cleveland series real quick. Game 1, White Sox obviously started a cold streak with 2 losses back-to-back against Houston, hoping they were going to bounce back with Lance Lynn on the mound, but Cleveland won 5-2. And, of course, I want to blame the fat guy on the mound for losing us the game, but I can't. He only had 1 earned run. He gave up 2 runs total. Offense, again, yuck. It's inconsistent. It's just been inconsistent all year. And I know Tristan McKenzie is good at what he does. I'm not going to get mad. But if you're going to expect to get runs against Cleveland's bullpen 8-9, especially with Clase coming out in the 9th, it's just not going to happen.
No.
Bullpen was also horrific as well. And then we got the Tony La Russa 1-2 walk that game as well. Walking the base, getting the bases loaded to put a force in any base.
See the light. What?
Are you mad at Tony for the 1-2 walk, intentional walk?
Yes, the guy's a freaking idiot. I'm look at all the headlines this year about the White Sox. Go back, look at every single headline. It's all negative, all stuff just ragging on this manager. I mean, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing it. The expected batting average for the average player when they're in a 1-2 count is like less than 100. Like no, dumb move. I'm sick and tired of that shit. Walk him right away. What are you wasting pitches
It's like he
for?
finally woke up in the dugout. That's the problem.
It's unbelievable.
Once you get a guy down 1-2, just go ahead and put him away. You're already up, right?
But I've never seen this shit before, Steve. Like, I've seen managers older than him. There was that guy that managed the Marlins in like 2003 when they won it all. That guy was very old. He was in like 70s too. But he's not like this idiot La Russa who just I think he just thinks he's smarter still and I'm a Hall of Fame guy. Like, he said it to cops. Like, come on. If you do that, look at Marcell Ozuna's dumb bitch ass. These guys really think this about themselves and that they're above everything. And, that's just Tony La Russa. That's just who he is. It's never going to change. So we're just going to keep on saying, we're just going to keep on seeing a bunch of bullshit moves by Tony. So who knows?
Yeah. Jack McKeon, by the way,
Jack
manager
McKeon,
of the 03 Marlins, will forever have a soft spot in my heart for putting the Cubs away after they were 5 outs away from making.
Speaking of Cubs, too. Okay,
yes.
Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, Fid's in the comments. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Jim Leland was there at one point, right? But he was.
Jim Leland was with the White Sox, I know, but I don't know if he was.
Yeah. Shit. All right. So Cleveland, obviously, game 2, Sox win 2-0. I'm still pissed off about the offensive approach. I know it's former Cy Young winner Shane Bieber on the mound, and fantastic pitcher when he's at his prime. But I'll say this right now, and this is a comment that actually came from, I'm not a big Darren Jackson guy, but I was listening to the radio, Len and DJ, on Saturday, once the game started, due to the delay, which I'll complain about in a minute. DJ was talking about it was the top of the 3rd, and the White Sox were going down quick, right? A lot of swinging at bad pitches, and DJ just goes, you know what? As a hitting, and I think this was a jab at Frank Menachino, Frank Macchiato, as you would call him. He was like, the one thing I would do as a hitting instructor, and what a hitting instructor needs to do with this situation is just like have these guys like just be more patient on the plate, stop lunging at balls out of the zone. because all they're doing is swinging at pitches that are starting in the zone and breaking out. And that's kind of Bieber's MO. Our guys, I mean, we've got mostly a young core. So it does take a little bit of coaching. It does take a guy to pull those guys aside and say, hey, try this approach instead, right? You've got guys too who are fastball first hitters who are going to capitalize on a fastball if it's presented to them in the spot where they want to hit it. Bieber's just going to continue to throw on those outer parts of the zone or continue to throw pitches that break out of the zone if you continue to, not be patient at the plate. So I just got to commend DJ for saying that. And it's just an absolute shame that Frank Menachino has not taught these guys how to do it in the most fundamental part of their career, like in regard to learning process.
Yep. And what I'll add on to that is what I'm noticing lately is the broadcasters and the Chuck Garfines of the world, the McGuffey's guys on the NBC, they're all ragging on this coaching staff. I mean, like Steve Stone and Benetti were going in on La Russa. I mean, people like when they start questioning stuff and they're the biggest water carriers, that's when there's a problem. There's a problem here. Like, come on, so whatever. Who knows? Cueto still let's talk about a positive, right? With that game. Cueto, right? Can we talk about that and just how fucking good he was yesterday?
I mean, that's exactly it. And I was definitely getting there. Johnny Cueto, absolutely fantastic. And we've already talked about it. The White Sox are lucky to have split these two games they played in Cleveland because of how bad the offense was. And like I've said before, you can't expect. You can't
anything.
Do what? Yeah,
they're not going to get any runs.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. You can't score two runs and expect to win a ball game, right? 100%. So, the only reason why they scored the first run, Abreu gets that double off the wall, and it almost went over. Luis scored from first. It bounced off basically the last few inches of the top of the wall and came back down where it could have been a ground rule double, and Luis would have been held up at third. Instead, Luis scores. They score the first run. They get lucky. Second run is the Elvis Andrus heads-up play. So kudos to Elvis Andrus for giving them that security run right there. Because as much as I love Liam, I much rather have him with a 2-run lead than a 1-run lead. It's just really sucky that I don't know. It just seems like as soon as they get some momentum in their sails, this team, they just want to bring it back down, right?
That's what it is. That's all this team does. So that's why I'm kind of glad they didn't play today. So,
fantastic.
I'm actually not too upset that they didn't play today. It was really early in the morning. Sox never play good early in the morning because, they're probably just not prepared because their managers aren't prepared or their coaches because they're trash. So, besides that, looking into what's coming up here. Steve, we got a random game tomorrow.
Random game against Kansas City.
Random Cleveland game.
And the Cease start is getting moved, which I'm very happy about. We're going to see Cease against Baltimore instead of Cleveland, which I think smart managerial move. And I don't know if it's the manager. It might be the analytics department finally doing their job.
Oh, hold on. So, the 5 people in the analytics department that they have, 5 people.
So is that true? Is it still 5?
100% that has to be true. I mean, you've seen it from like other publications. They have the least amount of analytical people hired in baseball. They have 5. Look at the top 10 teams in there. Right now, they're all doing well. I mean, the Cubs are, I think, right there too. I mean, they're not doing well like record-wise, but I trust with like if Jed Hoyer and the Cubs, got like scouting department, all that, were working with the White Sox instead of the Cubs, I would trust that a lot more right now.
Yeah.
So,
yes, apparently analytical. Can you drop that word again?
Analytical.
Fantastic. K-Fizz wanted to hear it again. So
stupid.
It's just frustrating the way that, the way in which this front office has constructed everything from the top down. I've said it multiple times on this podcast already, from the top down. The fact that we're excited about Elvis Andrus possibly being a game changer for the White Sox is a damn shame. Like, we should not be this excited about Elvis Andrus.
Back in 2015, baby.
Yeah. Well, one thing I have to say is at least we're not Cleveland. So that leads me to a quick segment that I want to run down quick, Carrie. And if you think this order should change, and this is from top down, places I'd rather vacation than Cleveland. Okay. Number 5, the city of Detroit.
That's terrible.
Number 4, Flagstaff, Arizona, in the middle of the summer. Number 3, a Dollar Tree.
With Reese McGuire.
With Reese McGuire in the same car.
Oh my
Number
God.
2, Beer Garden Jim's house.
Dry meat? You don't want that dry meat.
Even with his kid running around.
Yeah.
And the dry meat, man. That sounds
dry
terrible,
meat.
but I'd rather be
Chili's.
there. Oh. Chili's. And there goes Carrie. Yeah, I don't know what's worse. The Chili's in New Lenox or the meat at Beer Garden Jim's house. And yes, Flagstaff, nice temps in the summer. I'd still rather be there. And then my final one, as Carrie rejoins the stream. Welcome back. It looks like you had the same problem as me, Carrie.
Me too. Sorry, I got really excited because I saw this. So Brian,
Yes,
thank you for making me leave this studio because I got really excited about Chili's.
1,000%. And just fact checking, Carrie, Flagstaff is where our buddy's from, right? Or am I mixing up towns?
Oh my God! Now I just don't get it.
There it is. I just want to make sure you got the reference. Now it's funnier.
He's probably from south side of Arizona. Who knows? Who gives a shit?
South side of Flagstaff.
Yeah.
All right. And number 1, my last one, places I would rather vacation than Cleveland. Rockford, Illinois.
Oh God.
So I know, right? I know. Places I'd rather be.
Have you ever been to Cleveland?
I have been to Cleveland.
It sucks. It
does
really
suck.
does suck.
Cleveland does not rock. Cleveland sucks.
No. If I can just rattle off a few, not in any particular order. Poland for me would be one.
No.
That's for sure. I would say a Golden Corral. I'd rather go to a Golden Corral than just be in Cleveland because
Fair.
They
upped their state game apparently.
They did. I don't know if they did that. I would also say Florida. I'd rather be in Florida. Hanging out with Ron DeSantis, and then
hey, get ready. Next president of the United States. Oh.
And then I think another one would be I think I'd rather go to for me, I don't want to say it. It's gonna be it's a little out there, but yeah. I'll just stick with that. It was in the Middle. It was a Middle Eastern joke with Israel. So I was
good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, I've already been there, so I just wouldn't go to any area surrounding, but I'd rather go there than Cleveland. How about that? That works.
That says something.
So yeah, and then Germany. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you rattling off a nice list as well of places you would rather vacation than Cleveland. Shout out to Joakim Noah for that one.
Oh yeah,
who vacations in Cleveland.
Yep.
So, Carrie, we're at about the half-hour mark. You have any final thoughts for us as we go into this? We'll record again on Thursday.
Yep. Final thoughts before we record again. Have to be Kansas City with Kopech on the mound. Daniel Lynch's pitching. He torched the White Sox last time, so I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but they really, really, really need to win tomorrow. And then because then you got a pretty decent team coming up with Baltimore. But you have Cease pitching and that bum Giolito, but you got to take 2 out of 3 with Arizona coming up. So this whole week, the Sox could end up in first place in their division by the end of the week, but realistically with this team, not going to happen. So what I'm hoping for is with Baltimore and with Kansas City, they win 3 out of those 4 games.
That's definitely realistic. I think they can do it. I hope they can do it. I think I'm with you. I'm still going to be a little iffy. I'm going to feel like I am right now after these last 2 Cleveland games if they only take 2 out of 4. But yes, 3 out of 4, I would say is a must. And especially that game against Kansas City. There's no reason to be losing to Kansas City, especially with Kopech on the mound. So
100%.
Yep. All right. Thank you for those of you that joined us live. For those of you that are listening through the podcast, make sure you subscribe so you're alerted every time we come up with a new episode. And also make sure you join us on YouTube to have some fun in the comments.
Absolutely.
Shout out to K-Fids and Brian for joining us. Cheers to you guys. And we'll be back on Thursday after the Baltimore game to talk about that KC solo game and the 3-game set against Baltimore. Peace, everybody.
Absolutely. See you guys. Go Sox.
Go Sox.